Folio Games, game 2 of Gun and Gun. This time we're gonna pick our characters, our gunners, and I guess they come with pre-made decks, or we pick our guns.
All the card, we'll pick the gunners, and then we'll pick a skill to go with that gunner, and then we'll pick the guns. Then we'll go with each of them, and then we'll roll to see who goes first. And it's like a back and forth of picking because it's kind of like a draft kind of thing.
Cool.
So I'm just going to leave these here so you can look through them and look through the skills. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Cool. Okay, read them out loud. Micah, start the game with 40 life points. When you activate a skill we played last time, we started with 30 life points. So start the game with 40 life points. When you activate a skill, choose one of your guns. For the rest of the game, you may not fire that gun or draw cards from its deck. If there are no cards remaining in your other gun deck, you lose the game. You get 10 extra life points, but you can't use one of your decks, and you can't use one of your guns. That's weird. She's got a Ryuk in the background, looks like, or a gorilla's ghost. Right. Then we got Amata. At the end of your turn, you may deal up to 2 hits to yourself. If you do, draw that many cards from the top of one of your decks. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. But she's dangerous, though. She's not staying safe, she's staying dangerous. She's the definition. Kiruko. Four-hander, 4 agility. At the start of the game, you may remove any number of cards from your hand and redraw that many cards. Return the cards you removed from your hand to their respective decks and shuffle. She just has a mulligan, like an easy mulligan. But she has a she's a four-hander. Four-hander with a mulligan at the beginning of the game. Doesn't seem that great. Ran, I just played her. At the start of your deck, you may load from the top 2 cards of the deck. Maybe. And then Naturi, whenever you are dealt 3 or more hits, deal 1 hit to your opponent. So she auto fires back. She's a 5-hander. That's pretty good. And Hibana, once per turn, place up to 2 cards from the top of one of your decks or discard a pile into your voltage. 3-hander. Alright, let's look at these skills. Okay, 5-hander sounds pretty good. And she auto fires back, so. Okay, Naturi's first is whenever you're dealt 3 or more hits, deal 1. This is just an alt art. Okay, skills. Yeah, skills. Okay, so you pick 1 skill card, and then
and then there's just like a lot of like alternate art and foils and stuff in there. So there's only 3 for each gunner.
Okay. Why does it have the same skill card?
One's foil, one's non-foil.
Both of these are non-foil.
This one's supposed to be foil. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. It's just not like super great.
That's a horrible flying.
Yeah. But yeah, you can tell the difference between. So you see this one's got a little bit of a shine to it. This one doesn't.
Gun and gun, you gotta make better foils. That's all I gotta say.
Doing the best I can, man. It's like a one dude doing all this.
Alright, I'll take that back. I guess. So, like, I get to pick the character first, you're saying?
So what we'll do is we'll just do a high roll, and then whoever goes first will be player A, then will be player B. So player A chooses a gunner, player B chooses a gunner. Player A chooses a gun and takes the associated deck. Player B chooses 2 guns, and then player A will choose the last gun.
Cool.
And then both players will each secretly choose their gunner skill and not reveal them to each other, and then we start the next game. So you want to go ahead and do high roll.
Let me check out these other skills.
Okay.
Ongoing is it just never flips.
Correct. It's a continuous effect basically.
Wait, can you list them off? Well, now. No, is there a flavor? Oh, you got nothing. I'm sure it's pretty completely different. I've had a taste of. Okay, I didn't actually say that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay.
If you did make it, okay. That's not
All right. Go ahead and roll. Do a high roll.
And you said no.
I
Yeah,
said
we were on the same wavelength. He was like, no.
I got 5.
5.
All right. So you'll be player A.
Recommendatory. Not to you.
I will do Mako.
Okay.
And then you get to choose one gun. I'll pick 2 guns, and then you pick the last gun.
You're not picking Maka to handicap yourself, are you?
So I've heard people like I'm in a Discord server, and people say like she's the most difficult gunner to use. So
Okay.
I'm trying to figure
She
out
doesn't
ways.
seem like the most difficult.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out ways to break her.
Okay, cool, gotcha. As long as you're not handicapping yourself, which you are, but it's all good.
I didn't think I would have said that. That's a good question. I thought about it, but
Or whatever you call it now. What do you call it now? Differently labeling yourself.
I said eggplant.
What's a burn gun?
Burn. So they get that many tokens that are burn tokens, and then I believe they just lose that much life at the end of it. Let me double check on that. So it's like it's not dealing like regular hits, but it's just like consistent damage, and you can't get rid of them. Burn is an effect that gives burn counters to your opponent. When you resolve an effect with burn axe, give X burn counters to your opponent. Each burn counter deals 3 hits to its owner at the beginning of their turn. Okay, that's worse than I thought it was.
They lose life at the beginning of the turn?
Yeah, but each burn counter does 3 hits.
3 hits. What?
Yeah, so example, if a player has 2 burn counters, they're dealt 6 hits at the beginning of their turn. If they have 3 burn counters, they're dealt 9 hits. And burn counters generally cannot be removed.
Wow.
Yeah. But as you can
It
see,
costs 3 bullets to get
yeah,
one burn.
and you can only load up 1 bullet per turn.
Damn.
I feel like Ron could have used that though. Yeah.
Okay, Ron.
Loading up extra things.
Oh
each
yeah,
turn.
oh yeah. That's crazy.
Because it's on a track. Is that a roller coaster?
I'll go with 1 again.
Alright, I'm gonna do Suetsuke and Kasane.
Yeah. Yeah. We're on it right now.
I'll go ahead and give you your Uon back.
Did you give yourself this? So this was as far as the best. Was it your personal? Was it your personal?
I'll get it.
The smallest.
Udon.
Alright. Let me grab that deck.
What's with the oversized cards?
They just gave one as like a little promo thing. It has no mechanical significance. Just like oversized commander cards.
Yeah. This one, when you deal hits from firing U1, play the last game, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard that many cards from the top. If the hits are negated by your opponent does not discard any cards. They should have put that in parentheses.
Yeah.
Because they're Japanese, they don't think to do that.
Are you asking? Or, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
asking.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay. And this one,
But it's also translated, so
yeah,
it's really on the translator.
translator. And then Udon, high pressure automatic machine gun. Cards may not be loaded into Dodom face up.
I'm gonna, since she starts off with 40 life, I'm gonna go ahead and use my spin down, or my life counter instead of the dice.
Cool.
Adidas.
Oh yeah, you got 40.
Yeah, I start the game with 40 life. When I activate a skill, I choose one of my guns for the rest of the game and may not fire that gun or draw cards from its deck. If there are no cards in the remaining, or no cards remaining in my other gun deck, I lose the game.
So whenever you're dealt 3 or more hits, deal 1 hit to your opponent.
Yeah, see, that's a clarification. Well, because it's still majority, it's still like, yeah, you still have, you're still on. Whatever, I can call. Wait, so but none of us, it's just a tie. Oh, so we don't get any points.
They give you all these so you can maybe make multiple decks or something?
No, so each character only has one or 3 skills that they can choose from, but I got all of the rewards from Kickstarter, so a lot of those are like alternate arts, manga art, foils, so that's where all the alternates are coming from, just Kickstarter rewards.
You played BattleCon or Exceed?
No, I have not. I don't actually get to go out and play games a whole lot often. Usually if I'm playing things I already know how to play, like Magic or Flesh and Blood or something.
Okay. Yeah, Exceed and BattleCon kind of like this too, with
Yeah.
voltage.
Now, is BattleCon kind of like Mechs or something?
No, it's just like kind of like this, except for like you've got a range with cards,
Yeah.
range that you can hit from, and you've got your character card on one of these ranges. I think it goes from like 1 to 9 or 1 to 11 or something.
Yeah.
There are like a select few mechs, but like you really having like kind of like a Guilty Gear X type characters.
Yeah.
But they have a Street Fighter set. They've got a Guilty Gear X. They've got it's that night game, that night new game, that night game.
Dark Soul? No.
No, it's like a cartoony night.
I think I know it's a Capcom game though, right?
I don't think it's Capcom. It might be
Okay.
some kind of night. I forget what it is.
Yeah, I think I know. So it's all fighting, based on fighting games?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I always thought it'd be cool to like get into a card game that's based on fighting games. I've just never like. I know there's like at least a few that exist. I just don't know. Isn't there one that's like Ultimate Fighting System or something like that?
Yeah, that's the Universal Fighting System.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I got that in the bag too.
But I've just never been around anybody who actually plays them, so it's like, oh, I don't want to invest in something if like I don't know anybody else that plays these things.
Yeah, like we used to play at Imagine back when they had Imagine on Thursdays.
Yeah.
But now their game is they got a big block or whatever that's My Hero Academia.
That seems kind of like weird. Like, oh, are you saying that
The UFS game.
Okay.
Now they call it Universes, same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird they're kind of breaking out of that fighting game thing and doing like other stuff.
Well, I mean, they've always had anime. They've had Cowboy Bebop, that was a
Oh,
big
okay.
one for them.
Okay,
They
I
had
didn't
Mega
know that.
Man, they had a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of Capcom, a lot of anime.
Gotcha. All right,
Soul
so
Calibur, all kind of stuff.
my agility is only 2. What's your agility? 1. Okay, so I guess I go first because my agility is higher. I've got a hand size of 4 and you've got a hand size of 5. So I guess that's kind of her trade-off is she doesn't go first, but you've got more cards.
Yep.
So I'm gonna draw from this card or this
Man,
deck.
I mean, one chick only had she had like a mulligan at the beginning of the game and something
Yeah.
else stupid she had.
I was looking at her. I'm just like, and I was like talking to my friend about it. I'm like, I don't see why I'd want to play her that much. And he's like, maybe there's like some kind of combo or something, and you're like trying to set up like a combo play. And one thing with her is like, typically, normally you're drawing from one deck. With her, you could kind of craft your hand to be from both decks, so that maybe there might be some combinations there you might want. So, but I'll have to play with it more and figure out like how to effectively use her.
Yeah, you're very dependent on that first draw and that mulligan.
Yeah. Okay, so I get to go first.
A mouse.
I'll go ahead and load Suetsuke. I'll play Noise Generator. It's a mechanism that costs 0. My opponent can only activate 1 action card per turn. I'll play Activation. I draw 1 card from the top of each of my decks. Then I'll play another Activation. Also costs 0, of course. Draw a card from the top of each of my decks.
Nothing.
I'll play Leveling. Cost 0. My opponent discards their hand down to 3 cards.
Aw, dang.
This deck is dumb. Like everything costs 0. It's just like a bunch of like stupid effects.
Okay, get one agree. Yeah, why did you look at me and be like, Algernon? Their mouse, that's right. Algernon is amazing. There is not a mouse.
So that's the one. Which deck can't you play from?
That doesn't happen until I activate my skill.
Oh.
So once I activate my skill, one of my guns just gets shut off basically. So I can do whatever I want until I activate my skill.
Okay, so I don't know which deck I need to mill. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you discard your 2 cards.
Figuring out which ones.
Okay.
I feel like I couldn't enjoy any books that were required. Except for you like Western.
Was this the dice
That's
I
a
had?
D30.
Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't lose it.
Alright, yeah. Discard down to 3.
Okay. I will play Rush for 0. I draw 2 cards from the top of one of my decks, and then I deal 1 hit to myself. So I go down to 39. Draw 2 cards. I'll go ahead and load a bullet into this gun. And I can load up to 3 bullets into this gun. So just gotta decide if I actually want to do that or not.
Hard recoil hits you back, okay.
Play reaction.
And then hard recoil hits you back, right?
Yes, that's what it does. So yeah. I'll go ahead and just do one more load on this one, and then I will. Okay, I'll just end my turn, draw back up to 4, and it's your go.
Okay.
I have that book. And I did. Oh yeah. Which one was the one that was really good at the end? She was the best
And remember, you can only use one action during your turn.
Okay.
We did read a separate piece. Is that the one who was school? Did he or did he not? Did he not push him off the tree? Yes. What? We read that. I love that book. English.
Okay. I'll go
He,
2 cost destruction beam to discard 1 mechanism and 1 face down reaction.
1 mechanism and 1 face down reaction.
Discard up to 2 cards from 2 cards of your opponent's cards from their heroes.
So you said these get discarded. Alright, gotcha. Alright, anything else?
And I'll last turn.
Alright, yeah.
Draw back up. From 1 deck, right?
Yep.
I love being a 5-hander.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's not fun though when I've got leveling and you discard
It's crap. Discard 2, right?
3. Yep.
Okay, discard down to 3.
While you're deciding, I'm going to go ahead and do a noise generator and a reaction. So just reset up. I will load Suetsuke.
Oh yeah, we have to read
And I'm not going to do anything else, so I'll just draw back up and trio.
Okay, what's that noise do?
It's the same thing as before. You can only activate 1 action card per turn.
I want to reread a separate piece because that was an old imagery on it. Because I can remember describing the 40s war and stuff. I was old.
Alright, I'll do a heat up for 0. And that one, that's an action. Place 1 card from the top of either of your decks into your voltage. If your gunner's agility is equal to or less than your opponent's, place another card from the top of one of your decks into your voltage. If your gunner's hand value is equal to or less than your opponent's, draw 1 card from one of your decks. But my hand is more.
Yeah. Okay, so you can load. Yeah. Cool.
2 voltage. Discard that action. And then I will. Okay, since I can't play any more actions, I will load up the.
Yeah, that one's crazy. He's gonna load 4 bullets in a turn. I guess the drawback is you can't do any special bullets with the gun.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shoot. Well, when you deal hits from firing, Music, discard any cards from the top. Yeah, man, it's kind of better to shoot from here.
But you can only load one bullet per turn into one.
Oh, load 1, load 4. Okay, I didn't even pay attention to all that. Okay. Yeah, so load 1 right there per turn. Load 1, but load 4 from here. That is pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, load the 4, and then I'll swing the 3 hits with 2 bullets.
There's no effects, so yeah, I just take 3, I go down to 36.
Okay, and pass turn. Drawing 5.
Oh, I was right next to a guy that I didn't know. Yeah, we were like shoulder to shoulder. I didn't like, there was like no light right either. Oh, we had a face to me. So it was really dark.
So once you really, I mean, okay, I even have these, and you have to keep the deck on its side as the gun, right?
No, you don't. You can load your bullets into either gun.
So I mean, just to be like honest or whatever in the game, you don't have to have this deck right here.
You're saying, okay, yeah, you need to have your decks on the right, on the side where the gun is.
Okay, because I had them all backwards.
Yeah.
But like in like tournament play or whatever, you would be forced to put the right deck by the right gun, right?
I believe so. I've never done any tournaments, and there's not enough people together to like really do it besides like online.
But just to be like an honest player, you have to do it like that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even drawn up what I'm gonna get from here though.
Okay.
Because I guess I say that to say that if you see the person drawing from this gun's deck, you would know what kind of play that they're gonna be possibly doing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And speaking of which, I'm going to play Scramble. I choose a player in one of their decks. That player shuffles their hand into their decks, returning cards to their corresponding index, and that player draws the same number of cards they had in their hand from the chosen deck. Then I get to draw one card from the top of one of my decks. So I'm going to choose that deck, so you shuffle those back in there, and then you draw 5 from there.
Okay, nice. So you can see what kind of turn they're gonna have and mess them up.
Yeah, like whatever you were planning, no.
That's it.
I'm gonna load an Echo Shot into Suetsuki. Whenever I fire a gun loaded with this, my opponent may not activate a skill on their next turn. Oh, and did I tell you what this gun does? So this gun doesn't deal hits, it breaks things. And so I can break 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many bullets I have in there. So I choose X of my opponent's face down reaction cards, bullets loaded in their guns, or mechanism cards with a cost of 1 or less, or voltage, and then place them into their discard pile.
Okay, so break. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so I can target bullets, voltage, mechanisms, or reactions.
So knowing that thing is loaded, you might as well just shoot off instead of trying to hold anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Oh, or voltage. God dang. Okay.
I'll go ahead and load into this. Another Echo Shot.
Stop getting inside conversations. It can be really quick if people
Let's see why I hit that. Okay, so I'm going to fire this gun. You won't be able to activate your skill on your next turn. It's 3 bullets, so I get to break 2. I'm going to discard 2 of your voltage.
So I can't do my special because you use that gun?
Yeah, depending on how much. Yeah, correct. You can't use your skill. Yes.
Okay. Because of that gun?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then this has no additional effects. It's just a bunch of hit points. So.
And the recoil.
Yep, and the recoil. So I'm gonna fire this at you, and it also has an Echo Shot, but it's just redundant. So I deal 6 hits to you and I take 3, so I go down to 33.
6 hits going to 24, and then her power is whenever you're dealt 3 or more hits, deal 1 hit to your opponent.
Alright, so I'll go down to 32. I've only loaded 1 bullet and take Kasane this turn, so I'll load up regular bullets and echo shots. I will draw up to 4, and then it's here we go.
Go against something like this now. Well, I can't win. Oh, yeah. I'm just. Red, blonde, brown. You're spending the one out.
I love some of them.
I like being blonde. I just.
I know, I always look back and stuff. You would put red because of what red.
I don't know. Red is also fun because I love redheads. Like green points. They're so cool.
You got the timing and everything down, right?
Timing for like reactions and stuff?
Yeah.
It's not super complicated that I'm aware of. It's not like stack or chains or anything. I don't think, because I don't think you can like react against a reaction or anything like that. So it's basically it's like you fire it, and I have to decide if I'm going to react to it or not.
Saying you shoot a side
Oh,
thing.
timing with that. Okay, so
Saying I have that mechanism, gravitational ore belt. If your opponent's shot or skill would deal 3 or more hits, you may place this card on the bottom of your deck and negate those hits.
see, this doesn't deal hits though.
Okay,
So that won't do
breaks
anything
stuff.
against
So
that,
you would
yeah.
break my mechanism before I could even use it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because it doesn't do anything with hits. Now I work against Kasane, but not this. Yeah, it's like that burn gun. It wouldn't do anything against the burn gun because it's dealing doing tokens.
Okay, makes sense. Low 2 here.
Remember, you can only use 1 action card per turn.
Okay.
Ashley's shorts, dad's sweatshirt, and dirty shoes.
Off scheme. 1 cost, draw 3 from the top of one of my decks.
Yeah, like, I think I'm the best dressed.
I put Micah.
I thought Ashley.
Somebody put me with a purple sweatshirt.
So me and Micah get ready. Oh, wait, jump on the
Low 2 for maximum load.
And this awesome highlight sweatshirt that I got her.
But they have widgets. Do we think we got fancy? It has the widgets.
You also don't have any shoes on, so you really can't talk.
I go antimatter shot. When firing a gun loaded with antimatter shot, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard 1 card from the top of that deck.
Okay.
No, nobody got it.
Yep. So I'll shoot off for 1 hit right there.
I'm going to activate interference. Until end of main phase, I negate all of my opponent's shot or skill effects other than those which would deal hits. So I believe I still discard from, or I still mill from this, but I won't mill from the gun's regular effect.
Okay. And what does it say?
Interference until end of the main phase, I negate all of my opponent's shot or skill effects other than those which would deal hits.
Shot or skill effects, and this is just a bullet effect.
I believe so. I'd have to look up the. I think my friend and I ran into that issue as well. I think. Doesn't really clarify that I can find. But yeah, we'll just work with that now. So that doesn't work. That works. That doesn't work. Or does it apply to the? I don't remember. I asked the question a while ago, but I don't remember the answer. We'll just I'll figure it out later.
So just discard one card from the top of that
Yep.
deck.
Then you only got one to choose, so we'll just discard that one. So you'll deal 1 hit to me.
Yeah, one hit.
So I'm at 31, and then that goes to your voltage.
Yeah, but why do you say one deck you only have?
Because I ran out of cards in this deck. I used it up already.
Oh, so you would. So in effect, you would never pop off your effect now because you can't.
I
use
can
the
pop
card.
up my effect now and just shut off my gun because I'm out of the cards anyway, so I don't really care.
Oh, set off that gun. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha,
So
gotcha. Okay, that works. All right, and then I'll just shoot
No, that's not allowed.
4 bullets for 7.
okay. I will go down to so that's 6. Yeah, so 24, I believe.
24 to 24.
You don't get it, guys. You know Katniss.
Take that all pass turn.
Majority rules
Okay.
against you, you don't get it.
So
But we wouldn't have.
I'll do recharger and discard a card. So it's a mechanism. At the end of my opponent's turn, I draw from the top of one of my decks until I have 5 cards in hand.
A film is a film.
Um,
Is Katniss? No, it's not. It's
We'll
not.
do. And what deck did you draw from?
Yeah.
We'll do scramble, shuffle those back in, and draw from that one.
Son of a bitch.
Okay, give us our points, Stephanie. Give us our points. You don't get one.
And cards in the decks are 3 ofs or 4 ofs?
They're different numbers depending. So they're all built certain ways. So I think one deck has like maybe 5 or 6 of a certain card in it. So it just really depends.
Okay. There's no indicator on the card how many of them there are in the deck?
Not that I know of, no. On the player aid, it shows you what all the gun decks have.
Ah, cool.
It's so sad.
Yeah, because you can see in the inner deck it's got 10 double bullets, so half the deck is just double bullets.
Crazy.
You could have been anyway. The game is.
Okay, I'm going to
Game hasn't gotten too much press though yet, right?
no, not a whole lot of people have it, and really it's just got the Kickstarter, and then I think they're selling it on the website now, so you can still grab a copy. But yeah, it's just very, very low key. I don't feel like I'd like for it to get popular, but I don't feel like it'll get super popular because it's not like a TCG. You're not cracking packs and buying boxes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and activate my player skill. It costs 0. I'm gonna turn off this gun. When I'm dealt 1 or more hits, I may place 3 cards from my voltage into my discard pile to negate all those hits.
1 or more hits.
You take the count.
You place 3 cards from your voltage. Discard pile.
To negate all those hits.
Okay, nice.
So,
Flip it. So,
yeah, we'll just flip that. Alright, I'll fire off Kasane, and one of those is an Echo Shot. So, when I fire this, my opponent may not activate a skill on their next turn. So, you're going to take 6 hits, and I'll take 3.
Okay. And 4 for the effect right there.
Yep. So I'm at
18.
20. And then I'll draw up 4. And it's your go.
18.
And this is an ongoing effect, so it's just always on.
Cool.
You get to keep it. Mine are the exact same. Mine are the same.
Okay, so now I know that you can't break stuff. That's good to know.
Yep.
War fruit. I should also say this. Because I have to carry these.
We'll go overload or for 0 mechanism. At the start of your turn, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard the top card of that deck.
No, she take it to 9. Do you have 9? Count because it was 8.
Go, and I can only do 1 action or no?
You can only 1 action a turn.
And that's because of that mechanism.
Yeah, but as many mechanisms or reactions you want to lay down, bullets, And at the end of your turn, I'll draw up to 5 cards.
Okay. Alright, I'll
Oh,
scheme,
this one's fun.
which is draw 3 cards from the top of one of your decks.
Yeah, I know.
Cost 1. Scheme,
Okay.
draw 3.
So there's a lot of different ways to play, but we're gonna play the basic way first, and if we like, we get tired, we play the basic. So.
I will. Rock, because it's safe now.
Only look at the front part. Well, it doesn't matter.
No limit to the trap cards you can have out, right?
Correct. Just whenever you activate one, you gotta be able to pay for it if you can.
And then. So then we have the. No?
I look at my cards.
Yes, lay just the front.
Like just these?
Yeah, just and lay them out in front of you. And so then, we're gonna go like in a circle and take turns flipping the top card over, and then
One
the
more
goal is to be the first
hits.
person to
Place 3 cards from your
to put
voltage
one of your cards
to
down
negate.
first. So like,
all
let's say
these.
the
Basically, as long as I've got the voltage, I can just block your hits all day.
go as quickly as you can.
Got
and
3
then
of
the
them.
first person put it down. And you, yeah, so only the first one. So you keep yours, and you get to discard. The goal is to get rid of yours. So then and then let's say it says it's round, and then I put like this down, and which is not round. Y'all will come out of it, and then as a penalty, I have to get another card.
And you can only, by the way, you can only fire your guns once per turn, each gun. I don't know if I said that
it's a
before or not.
disadvantage to put it down first because then you have.
So you couldn't like load one bullet fire and then load one bullet fire. I don't think that would give you any sort of advantage or anything, but just a little.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Who put it first? Okay, then you get to. Good job. So we are ready to go. Now we're discarding.
What's the point of me doing this right now? Get rid of code. Alright,
Who put it down first? She's scared. Oh, she just did it. It's your turn. Got it. Oh my god.
Oh. Starfish? Oh.
Starfish?
Now, have you already loaded that gun this turn?
no. Well, it's kind of all in the same thing, but no, that was the.
That hers is that's underneath. That doesn't mean
I kind of put it face down instead of face up.
Well, you can only load one bolt in the gun per turn.
I'll forget that. Alright. Get rid of that.
Oh, wait, no,
Why not?
Right, guys?
Now,
Way to slow play that.
swing 1 right here. When firing a gun loaded with antimatter shot, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard 1 card from the top of their deck.
Okay, so that we'll discard that, and then I'll go ahead and activate that to negate the hits. So that activates, that doesn't. So I already milled 1, and then I don't take any hits or mill anymore.
Goes to the voltage still.
Yes.
And then firing this for 2 bullets for 3
Negate
damage.
that hit.
Mine's not for some.
Water can.
Oh, no. But Micah has to grab an extra one.
First turn.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I'll do explosive bullet. I take 1 damage when I load that. I'll do another explosive bullet. I take. Oh, I forgot. At the end of your turn, I draw a card off of recharger. So, and then do another explosive bullet. I take another hit, so I go down to 18. I will load a regular bullet. I'll play blast, and I'll discard this reaction.
It has legs. Those are legs. Are we gonna allow it? think it's fun.
Now, before you discard it, can I pop it off? Or?
No, because I don't have anything to pop it off for. Like, I'm not firing at you or anything. Unless, do you have it? Does it react to like me doing an action or anything?
No, sometimes they do, right? Because this just reacts to reduce the hits dealt by your
Yeah. So
opponent.
if it's just doing that, like you can't use that. I don't believe. Let me see it real quick.
Then the next sentence is choose one action in the discard. But I guess it's first to last.
Reduce the hits dealt by opponent shot or skill by 2. I think. Let me look at reactions real quick. Reaction cards may be activated in response to an opponent's shot or skill activation. So you can
Shot
only.
or skill.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Wait, I got a question. So, on top of that.
I'll go ahead and play Bash. You can't use this gun during your next turn, and I take 1 hit. Yeah, I choose one of my opponent's guns. Your opponent may not fire that gun during the next turn. I deal 1 hit to myself, and I can only activate it once per turn. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off Kasane. So 2 explosive bolts that each deal 1 extra hit. So that's gonna be 8 damage total to you, and I take 2, so I go down to 15.
Going down to 10.
Not if there's a whole bunch of it.
But what is in the picture? You
In the picture.
I'll draw back up 4, and I pass it back to you.
10, and then take 1 for the power.
So I go down to 14.
14 to 10. Okay.
I did do it.
Hey, when you did that,
Because we already gave that.
I'm gonna pay.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I'm full. What?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that if
Yeah,
you want.
I forgot to say that.
How did you know?
How did you know? Mikey gets points.
I was like, what is that?
Good job. As you put down, you just put down whatever anything
Oh, really?
and get to get rid of it. That's my bad, guys. I
Oh,
forgot
this
to
is
say
crazy.
it.
Oh, the game is called stuff?
If you had gotten it and you knew that, then
Yeah, it's true.
you get to do it.
Oh,
Right, that took you really long. That was a little bit too long.
Yeah, can you?
Okay. I don't think you can hold it. That's not fair.
Yeah, put it down. Everybody was
Actually, when you're.
It was me.
I slapped
Yeah. All your.
Because I had added these two in. You can sit on the ladder.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I guess.
No reaction. No reaction.
Okay, so it's your turn now.
Can't use that this turn.
Can't use that, and you can only use 1 action. And then at the end of your turn, I draw 1 card.
When you get tired, you sit down at the top. There's a spot at the top of the ladder you can sit on, so you can do. There's
Play
a
barrage.
for you to sit on.
Action during this turn, negate all of your opponent's effects other than those of reaction cards.
That's the whole thing.
Okay, so
that
I
would
guess I
negate
can't.
that.
So who
Yeah,
else
and,
you get Guys, I have.
Yeah, and then I guess I can't use this either, so I can't stop your attack. So, yep.
Right?
Majority.
Oh crap! I haven't been doing this. At the start of my turn, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard the top card of that deck. You have to watch that.
But that's for you.
Next time I see you on the ladder,
Do you
you
always
sit.
sit on ladders? If not, I don't think it should count. I mean,
I guess I do be sitting on them when I'm tired. You get tired, you wanna sit, your legs get tired, and when you're putting the string in the lights up on the house, you sit on it, maybe you get tired.
Right, and that happens all the time.
Occasionally, you can have it.
I can sit on the goldfish.
Oh, I almost.
No, I might as well do this.
You're gonna get trouble by goldfish. See, this is where you could have used your. So either way, you would have gone.
Blitz. Spin 3. Gain another turn immediately after this one ends. Once per game.
Okay. Another turn. This one.
Is it
Alright.
yellow? You could argue that the red.
And then I'll pop off my skill.
Okay.
But when you think of a hot dog, do you think it's yellow?
Spin 8 voltage. And then that says bad medicine. Ongoing at the start of your turn, choose a deck, yours or your opponent's. discard 4 cards from the top of that deck, and then your opponent loses 4 life.
Okay.
So 1, 2,
Whenever it has a color though, I thought
3,
it was a picture.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Only a part of it is yellow. Like it's just the mustard. It's yellow. Well, you consider this. Do you guys think?
I'm going at the start of your turn, choose a deck. Yours or your opponent's discard 4 cards from the top of their deck, and then your opponent loses 4 life. I got no cards in hand.
So then, end of turn
I was
effects,
trying to become a fair
and
troll.
then you draw, and then I will also. Oh, you did the barrage thing, right? So my effects are. Is that for the rest of the turn?
Yeah, I think it's just for the turn.
Barrage.
Okay, everybody, you owe me.
Mustard is yellow.
But it's a hot dog.
So personally,
During your turn, you get all of your opponent's effects on. Okay, yep. So I can't draw a card off of your turn, but your next turn, I'll be able to draw a card off of your turn. All right.
Alright, and then at the start of my turn effects, choose a deck, discard 4,
That's what I had to do.
Okay. So I discard 4.
Oh, okay, compromise. Even though she
and
shouldn't. I don't
then your opponent loses 4 life.
All right. I go down to 10.
And then at the start, and then with the Overlord orb, at the start of your turn, choose one of your opponent's decks and discard the top card of that deck.
Okay.
And you got
One
1.
card left. Yeah. And then
And then you lose as soon as you get milled,
yeah,
or
as soon as I get milled, it's game over. It's not like until you draw your next card or whatever. And then I've got Recharger, so I have to draw a card. It's not a May effect. I draw a card at the end of the turn.
so it's just.
I'm gonna die.
No,
So
okay.
you got this. If you want to
Alright.
just call it.
Yeah, I guess we'll call it. And then I've also got the one. Well, I mean, we'll just be.
Yeah, because you
then
can
I'll do
either
the
fire
Ooh.
that, I draw, or you just literally do nothing. I draw and I'm dead.
Okay, I'll fire one.
Okay.
All right, it's easy. Oh,
You
I
can
can't
only
use
load-
that now.
Yeah, you can only load one.
Yeah,
per
for
turn.
one mills for one. So it's easy.
So, good game.
Man, has it always been a close game every time you play?
Not always, no. So with the beginning player setup with Ron and Hibana, from the times I've played with my friend, Ron typically is just super good.
Okay.
So she's just dumb. Because it's you can gain so much life with the deck that your opponent can just not do much.
But if you don't catch your trigger like I didn't do on the first turn, you might end up messed up.
Yeah, because with Ron, it's she's got slower guns, but she can load those up fairly quickly, and then just start gaining life and milling you at the same time. And especially if you can attack just one deck, maybe the Enra deck that does all the double bullets, you can just severely cripple them. And so you're gaining life, they can't load up as quickly, and they're just slowly dying.
Man, I like Naturi's special, but you broke some of my voltage. That makes me up.
Yeah. But basically, kind of the strategy, because I've played this combination before, strategy is most of the stuff in this deck is free, and all of it's interference and stuff. So it's basically I just keep you down the whole game, and then once I run out of the deck, I can just activate the skill, block all your stuff for the rest of your game, or most of your stuff, and just continually bash you with
You
hits.
accidentally killed your goldfish, and so you're trying to hide it from your parents, so you hide it.
It just didn't work especially well against Naturi
Yeah.
because
If I had gotten one more turn, I would have been able to kill you because I had 2 explosive bullets set up, which would have done 8 damage to you with the firing. And then I had a sneak attack, and what that says is I deal 3 hits to my opponent. If my life is 5 or lower, I deal 5 hits instead. With the damage from the explosive bullets, and then from Nattery, I would have been at least 5 life, and so I would have been able to do 5 more hits and kill you. So that extra turn thing basically saved it.
So you're not there. I went, oh, just kidding with that. Oh.
yeah, I mean, if I wouldn't have used that, I had other stuff to spend my money on. But I mean, spending 3 on an extra turn is almost but just the fact I could do my skill and everything that helped a lot.
Alright. Did you want to
Nice weekend, nice weekend.
do a different game or?
Yeah, let's do something else. All right. Later.